How can we win the battle of you versus you?
Oh.
Tonight, I introduce my two very spry rabbits. White rabbit is the you in the future. This is the positive rabbit that says to yourself, maybe I'll wake up tomorrow, go for a jog. Or, I think I really need to quit smoking. I'm spending a lot of money on that. The white rabbit is the good intention rabbit. The second rabbit is the black rabbit. Ooh.
Beautiful.
This is the now.
Beautiful black.
Yeah.
Black is beautiful.
This rabbit is the now rabbit, who says, keep doing what you're doing right now. You enjoy it, you love it, do it, smoke, drink, eat as much as you need, be merry. And so, with these two rabbits, there's a constant battle of the two camps together in our brains. Neuroscientists have analyzed the human brain when these rabbits are at work in our heads, and they have created a graph of battles and colors that show how different parts of our brain are working to try to make decisions when we're using the future and the now. So, in economics, there's also a big problem with this now rabbit. We borrow money, we use things that we can't possibly pay back, hence the 2007 economic crisis. So, to help us figure out today how we can get better at dealing with these two rabbits in our brain, I want to introduce to you what I refer to as the Ulysses contract. In front of you have a sample of what a Ulysses contract is all about. But how it works is, it's a binding agreement that you make with yourself to push yourself in the direction you need to go. To give you some historical ideas about Ulysses, Ulysses was an ancient Greek mythological hero. He sailed all over ancient Greece, fighting vicious foes and dealing with the problems. One thing Ulysses wanted to do was to hear the song of the sirens. Oh. The smart Ulysses decided that in order to hear the sirens, he wanted to make a contract with his crew on board the ship. So he climbed up to the top of the mast of the ship, tied himself to it, and then gave his crewmates earwax, or wax, to put into their ears so they wouldn't hear the siren sound themselves. If you heard the siren sound, you would most likely perish, because men were drawn to the sound of the sirens, their beautiful song, and then they met their untimely end. Ulysses stayed on top of the mast, ordering his men to guard him with swords if he broke free to reach the sirens. And as he fought and struggled and the sound of the sirens filled his head, he was momentarily crazy. But the Ulysses contract that he made with his crew helped him to succeed in his goal, which was to hear the beautiful song, but not be taken away and turned into some kind of a zombie. So, we move ahead in future to a time when Xenophon the Greek is a famous philosopher who also used the Ulysses contract to his advantage. Xenophon was being chased all over Greece by the Persian army. Finally, after going over mountains, swimming through rivers to escape, he came to a huge cliff. And he said, "Gentlemen, here is where we will make our stand. Here is where we will fight the battle." His generals said, "Zeno, what are you thinking, man? This is crazy. What's wrong with you?" And Xenophon turned to them and said, "No, our enemies will realize that we are strong and determined in the face of battle, and that we're not willing to die or back down." So, from Xenophon and Ulysses, I learned that one of the best ways that you can force yourself to do something maybe you don't really want to do is to open a Ulysses contract with yourself. How this works is you use the now versus a now in your life. For example, about 10 years ago when I wanted to quit smoking, I was in university, I was a starving student, and I smoked. I smoked a lot. Sometimes I smoked 2 packs a day, because I was nervous about school, public speaking, and doing presentations. So my goal was to try to stop smoking, but after 20 failed attempts, I was never ever able to quit. It wasn't until I was introduced to the Ulysses contract that I realized this could be the secret to my success, and it was. What happened to me was I decided that if I tried to quit smoking one more time and I failed, I was going to donate all my money to the National Rifle Association. Now, I hate guns, and in Canada, we hate guns as well. And so, for me to give all my money to the NRA would be a major problem for me. So, in order for me to successfully stop smoking, my goal was completed by the fact that I was using something now, the fact that I was disgusted with the NRA, and the fact that I actually now wanted to continue smoking every day. The decision became easier because the two nows were now together, and I was able to put them together so that they could work easier in my mind. So again, back to neuroscientists. The neuroscientists have also studied how the brain works when we use the Ulysses contract in our minds in order to accomplish our tasks. And guess what? There's less color, less thought going on, which means that it's easier for us to make some of these decisions when we use these types of tactics. It was the famous president or prime minister in Britain, Eleanor Roosevelt, who once said that I am what I am because of the change that I make yesterday. And this is completely true with the Ulysses contract. It helps us to achieve what we want and makes things easier in terms of building our own success. I think nowadays, more and more, we're moving towards a character that isn't just strong. It's someone who is strong in knowing their own weaknesses. More and more we see self-help shows and doctors who are trying to help people help themselves. And so, using these tactics, whether it's a Ulysses contract or just positive thinking with a new start, can help you to achieve these goals. One thing I've noticed is that I use these contracts every day in my life. Sometimes if I'm going for a jog, I'll say to myself, run this 10 kilometers in under an hour, or you should eat Foshin Tom. I use these things to help myself to achieve the things that I really want to in life. And while using it every day can somehow trivialize it a little bit, it gives me spry movement towards the goals that I really want to attain. So finally tonight, one of the best things you can do is use these contracts in your life. So all of you have a sample of the contract in front of you this evening. Try it out. See how it works. Sometimes a bet against yourself can be the most positive way to change your life. Thank you.